Welcome back, everybody. It's one of your favorite degenerates from the podcast from Saturdays to Sunday. I'm Cale, and for any new listeners, Cam is currently with his beautiful wife going on their honeymoon, so you're stuck with me. Obviously, we have Cam here in spirit. I do have some notes from Cam that we will discuss. And today's topic, we're going to go back and forth a little bit. We're going to talk about some NFL, but we're also going to pivot to college episode because the AP poll just came out this past Monday at 12, and I do want to talk about that because it's fresh. And I have my opinions. Cam has his notes. I'm going to read verbatim to you guys. But first, let's talk about some NFL news. And just NFL in general, guys, because that's what we're here for. So obviously we have preseason. It started last week. Hall of Fame game. It did not disappoint. In retrospect, in the full swing of things, like, it's pretty fun. Panthers showed out. I think we talked about it last week, and same with the Cardinals. Like, Carson Beck looked good. But as I am recording this, week 2 of preseason will be starting. One second while I pull it up. We have the Raiders and Texans. Honestly, again, nothing really too much to brag about, just because it is preseason. We get the start or the backups. But in the full swing of things too, like, football is back. And me personally, I love this time of year just because, again, selfishly, we have this podcast, but also too, there's nothing better with football. I'm not going to just say it's a male thing, male and female. Mental health is awesome for football. Maybe it's just me. I mean, my mood improves and everything with football when it's going, so I really, really enjoy that. Obviously, when I had Cam here and all my other boys, it was even better, but we're still going to be talking. And we're in, like, I think less than 10 days for college. Literally next Saturday, we got week 0, and I am fucking pumped about that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about with the NFL. I do know, unfortunately, you never want to see fights happen, but fights are inevitable. I know, not to use my team, but they were the ones that were in the fight, the Cowboys and Saints. Both teams got fined 500K or 500,000. Jesus, I can't talk. They just got fined. I'm not going to butcher numbers. Numbers are hard. And the head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, said, you always want to be on that fine line. You want to be aggressive, but you don't want to overstep that line because then this happens. I don't indulge fighting. I'm sure Cam's also right there with me. Fighting is never a good thing. Somebody is going to be in trouble if it's not the team. It is the team, clearly. We saw that. So it's just unfortunate. You don't want that to happen. We want them to play safe. You want them to play aggressive, but you don't want to step over that line. Excuse me. But honestly, I think what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to give you guys a little bit more predictions here from the NFL. I did finish my predictions for the NFL, and then we're going to talk about the AP poll. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a shorter episode just because it is me. You guys are lucky, just me. So it's not going to be your average like 45, maybe an hour. It might be 20 to 30 minutes, but we're okay. We're going to be okay with that. And holy shit, I don't know what just happened. Anywho, so I forgot who we did last time. Kind of have a weird suspicion. But one I do want to talk about, and me personally, I have been a big proponent of like pissing people off when it comes to my predictions and or hot and cold topics. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys the Arizona Cardinals in my prediction this year. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to piss people off, my predictions, my thoughts, but I'm going to piss some people off. I truly think, as a whole, this team could go 0-17. It's not out of the realm, and I'm going to talk about that. They have an absolute barn burner of a schedule. They are in the toughest division. They play all 3 of those teams twice, so do the math. They're going to get swept by all those teams. And even the one team that I did give them the win, I have a weird suspicion that the other team could pull out that W against them. So week 1, the Cardinals play the Chargers. They're not going to win that. Again, they don't have a starting QB. I loved what I saw out of Jeremiah Love, but I don't want to compare him to Ezekiel Elliott, but if you just use him, I don't want him to get injured or that shell life to be cut in half. But as we know, the NFL is a dangerous game. You don't know how long any specific position player has in the NFL. Shit happens. So with that being said, they have a loss to the Chargers. They play the Seahawks and the 49ers. All L's, 0-3. They play the Giants. Maybe you could have that up in airs, but the Giants are rolling, man. I truly think the Giants get this. And they play the Lions. For fuck's sake. I mean, come on. 0-5. They play the Rams. You're not going to beat the Rams. Week 6, so they're 0-6. Week 7, good Lord, if this wants to cooperate with me. Week 7, they play the Broncos. It's an L. It's a fucking L. Even if Bo Nix isn't there, that defense is probably top 1 or top 2 right there with the Texans defense. I don't see them pulling this out, guys. The next one, I know in recency they have kicked the shit out of my team, the Dallas Cowboys. They did it last year. It was one of their only 3 wins. I just don't see that happening. We improved our defense. Our offense is top 5. If our defense can perform, again, I don't see the Cardinals winning this. Again, prove me wrong, but I don't see it happening. So 0-8. Week 9, they play the Seahawks. Again, you're not going to win that. I'm not going to talk too much about that. Then in week 10, you play the Rams. Gonna lose. Week 11, if our Lord and Savior Patrick Mahomes is back by week 11, which I think he's going to be, it's going to be a loss, guys. It's going to be a loss. Week 12, they play the Commanders. Again, the Commanders are a better team. Wishy-washy about Jane Daniels. Want him to do good. Again, when he's playing Dallas, I'm going to take the L. But I truly think they're going to lose. They play the Eagles week 13. They're going to lose to the Eagles. Week 14, they have a bye. Week 15, they play the Jets. This is the only dub I have the Cardinals getting. And even that, I'm still on the fence about that. I'm still not 100% about this W. Even with the Jets in their quarterback position, I still think as a whole the Jets have a better team than the Arizona Cardinals. Again, the Cardinals are the worst team in the NFL this year. I'm not trying to be an asshole. This is no new news to you guys. I know I'm going to piss people off, and I'm okay with that. Week 16, they play the Saints. I just don't see them beating the Saints either. The Saints are a good team. I know Jordan Tyson is out. He should be back by then. Tyler Shuck is Tyler Shuck. Chris Olave is decent. Alvin Kamara, Travis Achan. They're gonna have all these. Oh my God, they're gonna have all these players, and I just don't see the Cardinals winning against them. Again, they play the Raiders. That's also a shootout to me too. That is another one where it was like kind of a pick 'em in my mind, I guess. I chose the Raiders to beat them, so that's another L. Again, I could have given the Cardinals the W. Again, this season, the Cardinals could get 2 wins. That is the ceiling for me, unfortunately, with them. And it's against the Raiders and the Jets. But again, I'm going to preference this as I think they truly could go 0-17. Week 18, they play the 49ers. You're not going to win it. You're simply not. The over-under on FanDuel is 3.5. I'm honestly not too far off. I think I'm being kind of generous here. This team sucks. It's plain Jane that simple. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. They're just not going to be good. I hope Cardinal fans are aware of that. Oh, fucking well. Again, I have a little bit of a vendetta, personal beef with the Cardinals. Not as the team, but just somebody that we used to know. So I kind of want them to suck, for this person to suffer a little bit, which is kind of malicious, but I don't really give a shit. Let's stay in the NFC West. I think the NFC West. All right, let's pivot to the Seahawks, guys. Seahawks, week 1 rematch of the past Super Bowl. They play the Patriots. I'm gonna give the Seahawks a little bit of I'm gonna give them the dub-a-rooney. Then they play the Cardinals week 2. That is a dub. Play the Commanders week 3. Also a dub. Chargers week 4. Give the Seahawks the win here. Again, Chargers are not a bad team. They scare me in the playoffs. I would pick any team against the Chargers in the playoffs to beat them. I'm going to roll with the Seahawks on this one, guys. Hope you can understand. Week 5, they do play the Niners. I have the Niners beating them, actually. I think they split that series with the Niners. Again, the NFC West is it's the strongest division. Excuse me. God, holy crap. Strongest division in football, right up there with the NFC North. I don't know about a whole lot of AFC divisions, but I think it's between the NFC. That's the stronger conference as of now. Week 6, they do play the Broncos. I gave the Seahawks the dub here. Probably going to piss off my... I do consider them family, but Alondra's cousins and everybody, Edgar, all of them, Chewy, you guys, Leo, sorry, it is what it is. I don't see the Broncos pulling this dub out. Sorry, guys. They play the Chiefs. The Broncos are good. The Seahawks, not the Broncos. The Seahawks will beat the Chiefs, even if Patrick Mahomes is there. I just have a weird suspicion. They do play the Bears, too. I gave oh my gosh, I keep saying the Broncos. Good Lord. They play the Seahawks play the Bears week 8. Give the Seahawks the W. Bears are a good team. Defense scares me. Maybe they can beat Cardiac Bears and get the dub, but as of now, I'm giving it to the Seahawks. Play the Cardinals week 9. Just talked about them. Not a chance. Play the Raiders week 10. They're going to beat the Raiders. This isn't surprising, guys. This is not surprising at all. This doesn't surprise me. It shouldn't surprise you. If it does, okay. Week 11, they have themselves a bye. Nobody wins or loses when they do a bye. Maybe you do in hindsight if your division, the teams in the same division win. I don't know. Week 12, they play the Niners. Again, Seahawks beat them. They split that series. The Niners, I know they're injury prone. I know CMC has an injury. But what they did last year, I'm not a Niner fan by any of the means, but they're a good team. They pull it out with nothing. They usually do. It's unfortunate, but they're going to split it. Play the Cowboys. They're going to beat the Cowboys. I do not have faith in my team when it comes to them playing the defending Super Bowl champions. If the Cowboys get the dub, whoop-de-fucking-do. I don't think they're going to. That's week 13. Week 14, they play the Giants. They're going to steamroll them. I don't have too much to say about that. Week 15, they play the Eagles. They're going to beat the Eagles. Seahawks, they will. I'll piss off Eagle fans. I don't really give a shit. Week 16, they play the Rams. I think I also have them. I do. Okay. Week 16, it just depends on, I don't know the actual schedule by heart, but whoever's the home team gets the dub that time. So week 16, they split it regardless. I don't want to hurt myself. They're going to lose week 16. They play the Panthers week 17. They're going to win. And then they play the Rams week 18. They win that. Split them. It's whoever the home team is. I don't know the actual schedule and where the home team plays on those specific dates. FanDuel, the over-under, they have them at 10.5. I gave them 15 wins. I still am going to stand tall on that. Let's do, trying to think, y'all. Let's do 2 more predictions because I know I did that last week too. But we're starting to ramp up. There is news, but still it's kind of wishy-washy at the moment. Let's do 2 of these and then let's pivot to the top 10 in college football. Let's not stay in the NFC West. Let's go to the motherfucking... Let's go to the AFC, y'all. Let's go to the AFC. Let's go to the Steelers. The Steelers. We didn't talk about the Steelers. Cam's team, the Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the Steelers too. I can get behind them. My mom's a Steelers fan. I root for them. I'm a Cowboys and Bears fan. But if I had a ranking system, it's Cowboys, Bears, and Steelers. I know I root for a lot of teams. It is what it is. Y'all will get the fuck over it. Booyah. Week 1, the Steelers play the Falcons. I got a W with the Steelers. I'm a little bit, I'm not going to say, I'm scared with the Falcons. Kevin Stefanski is a good coach. It's just, he does scare me. I don't know why. Just an inclination. They do have the weapons. Defense also scares me. James Pierce Jr. is suspended 8 games. I'm going to quit rambling. Steelers, week 1, they get the W. Week 2, the Steelers play the Patriots. They're losing. Patriots are a good team. They have A.J. Brown. I just don't see the Steelers pulling this out. If they do, fucking awesome. Week 3, they play the Bengals. I think I have the Steelers splitting this. I think it's the AFC East. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. This division that they're in, it's tough as nails. Even the fucking Browns, they usually split a series with any team in that division. It's crazy. So week 3, I'm having them win against the Bengals. Week 4, winning against the Browns. Week 5, I actually have them losing against the Indianapolis Colts. Again, we've talked about trap games in the past. I just have a weird suspicion. Danny Dimes. The Colts did sign Keenan Allen, which cool, past his prime. I don't know. I'm going to give the Colts the W on this and the Steelers L. Week 6, I have them winning against the Bucks. I am high on the Bucks, but again, no team is going to go 17-0. It's a lot harder to do that than to go 0-17. I know I just talked about the Arizona Cardinals. Week 7, I do have them also losing against the Saints. Weird suspicion. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. Just making my predictions, and I was like, this seems like a game that they could lose. Week 8, winning the Browns, so that's a clean sweep of the Browns. But again, I just talked about that 10 seconds ago. This is my pre-predictions. The Browns could split that series because, again, in-division rivals, they fight a little harder, as do Cowboys and Eagles. And in the other divisions, they fight for the bragging rights, per se. Week 9, bye. Week 10, they play the Bengals. They're losing that. Week 11, they play the Philadelphia Eagles, the Battle of Pennsylvania. I saw a stat. I don't know it by heart. The Eagles have continuously beat up on the Steelers, so I'm going to pick the Eagles to win that. Steelers lose that. They play the Broncos week 12. Steelers losing that one too. Again, we know enough about the Broncos and that heavy hitter of the defense, and I think Bo Nix will be back. They play the Texans week 13. Also an L. Week 14, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars, also an L. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 games in a row after that bye that they're going to lose, in my mind. That's a tough second half of the schedule. Week 15, they get the W against the Ravens. I think I have them splitting this too. Week 16, they get the W against the Panthers. Week 17 against the Titans, they also get a W. Week 18, this could be division on the line. Maybe if it falls into place. I don't think it's going to. I think I have the Bengals winning this division. Play the Ravens. I just said it 10 seconds ago earlier. You're going to lose. The over-under on FanDuel is 8.5. I have them at 8 wins and 9 losses. It's commendable. They don't have Mike Tomlin there, so maybe Mike McCarthy in a reunion with his old MVP winner and Aaron Rodgers, they could move mountains. I don't see it happening. 8 and 9. I'm going to run with that. I'm still going to stand tall on my mountain with that. 8 and 9. Let's do one more. No, I don't. Jets and Dolphins are going to absolutely suck this year. Let's do the Bills. Let's piss off some Bills fans. Week 1, they play the Texans. The Texans steamrolled them last year. I'm going to stick to my guns on this. The Bills will lose week 1 to the Houston Texans. Week 2, the Buffalo Bills play the Lions. Dub Rooney, have them get the dub here, 1-1. Week 3, I have them beating the Chargers. Again, I think they get it out. They have DJ Moore. They have an okay defense. Josh Allen, I'm not going to praise him because I don't want to. Week 4, they play the Patriots. I'm almost positive I have them splitting the series. So, yep. Week 5, I do have them beating the Los Angeles Rams. So, don't call me a hater. I know Bob. Maybe. I don't know. Week 6, they play the Raiders. W. Not going to go too hot. Good Lord. My computer just did something weird. Hold on, everybody. Week 7, it's a bye. Week 8, they play the Ravens. W. I don't know the overall head-to-head record of Josh Allen and Lamar, but I'm going to give it to the Buffalo Bills. W. Week 9, they play the Vikings. I have them getting the W, but I also now looking back, if Kyler can perform like past MVP candidate Kyler, I might switch this. I'm going to leave it alone at this moment. Moment is not a word. Week 10, they play the Jets. Not even going to talk about that. Use your imagination of what I picked. Same with Week 11, they play the Dolphins. Use your imagination. That is not a hard division. Week 12, they play the Chiefs. I do know this stat line. I don't know the actual number, but I know in season, Josh Allen wins against Patrick Mahomes, but then in the playoffs, he usually crumbles. So I'm going to give it to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Week 12, they beat the Chiefs. Week 13, there it is. Okay. Hold on. Nope. Okay. Yes. Week 13, they play the Patriots. Loss. Again, splitting that series with the Patriots. Week 14, I have them beating the Packers. Week 15, I have them losing to the Bears. I'm sticking to that. Caleb can. I'm not trying to be a biased fan. Call me whatever you want. It's my predictions. Again, I'm going to keep saying that. Weird suspicion. I just think they lose. I don't care. Week 16, they play the Broncos, giving them the Dubskis. Maybe Josh Allen has a fire under his ass after the divisional round of last year's playoffs and losing. Week 17, they play the Dolphins. Use your imagination. Week 18, the Jets. Jesus Christ. FanDuel has them at 10.5. Over under, Jesus Christ, 10.5. I gave them 14 wins, 3 losses. So yeah. That is all that I'm gonna give you for my predictions. You can make your own. I have them all here. But yeah, I kind of gave you guys maybe half, maybe a little bit more than a quarter of my predictions from not only this episode but last episode. But now we're gonna talk about the AP poll. And I have a lot to talk about. Again, like I said earlier, Cam gave me his notes. I'm going to read them verbatim. We kind of talked off pod a little bit because he is packing for his beautiful honeymoon. I agreed with some of he said, but I also was like, interesting. So if you guys didn't know, the AP dropped it. I know I'm repeating myself. It's redundant. But I give you the top 10, if you don't already know. At number 1, it's Ohio State. At number 2, Oregon. 3, Georgia. 4 Notre Dame, 5 Texas, 6 Indiana, 7 Miami, 8 Texas A&M, 9 Ole Miss, 10 Oklahoma. Let's get into Cameron's notes. My phone wants to fucking operate correctly. Okay, so Cam's initial reaction, not I'm not surprised. It's a safe bet. He could switch them with Oregon. Overall, I'm not upset. They still have a great roster, and yes, losing Brian Hartline can be rough, but I do think Arthur Smith fits their style, and it'll be hard for him to mess up an offense with that talent. UTSA transfer Devin McCunn, I think I'm pronouncing that name right, has taken off in the offseason, so they'll have an exciting wide receiver duo once again. So, with that being said, when I saw the initial drop, I wasn't surprised either. Do I agree with Ohio State being ranked number 1? No. This isn't me trying to piss off Ohio State fans. Yet again, it's my thought. Do I think they're top 5? Absolutely. Do I think they're number 1? No. There's 2 teams that I would put over Ohio State in the aggregate if I'm using that right. I would put Oregon number 1 or Indiana because I think. Let me hold off on that when we get to Indiana. I don't want to get down a soapbox. But Ohio State's number 1. It is what it is. Maybe it's recency bias. It's fine. I'm not upset at it, nor am I. I'm not down and I'm not up on it. I'm right here. I'm in the middle. Oregon, Cam's team, number 2. Verbatim, perfectly happy with this ranking. No complaints. Having a big target on their back from the get-go could help. Best team on paper. Only hole is at wide receiver, but mainly because depth. And even then, they return to Corey and bring back Evan Stewart and Iverson Hooks from UAB, and there's a potential for Jeremiah McCullen to break out. Also, Gatlin Bear is cool. Can't forget about Jamari Johnson, a great tight end and run game. So again, as I said before, I like where they put Oregon. Again, I think they could have been bumped up. Number 1, could have switched to Ohio State, put them at number 2, but it's fine. I like where they put Oregon, but if I'm being picky, they could have been number 1 in my mind, but number 2 is also pretty graceful. Again, I agree with Cam. In my mind, it is the best overall roster. Great quarterback, love Dante Moore. Running game, 2-headed monster. Wide receiver, good. Best defensive line. Offensive line is good. The back half, Brandon Finney. All of them, Coy Parrish. We love it. Hopefully they pop off. Selfishly for Cameron and my co-host and my brother, I want them to win a natty. They are my natty pick this year as of now. Number fucking 3, Georgia. Cam's words. This feels too high for me personally. I could be okay with them at maybe 6, but 3 seems a little bit much. Yes, it's Georgia, and they still field a good team and develop the less experienced talent over the offseason, but that is my reaction. I do agree with him. There isn't a lot of SEC bias in this year's poll, which I'm kind of thankful for, but also I do agree with him. I do think this is too high. When it comes to the wide receiver, running back, tight end positions here, I know in recency they have had good tight ends, but wide receiver has been lacking there in the past. I do think 3 is pretty high for them. I would have put them more at 5, 6, 7 roll, maybe a little bit higher. I am not upset at it. Doesn't surprise me that they're put here, but I also think it is a little bit too generous for this Georgia team. And in the past, there's been better Georgia teams where I would have put those teams over this said Georgia team. I'm not a fan of it, but that's okay, and I think Cam agrees. Number 4, Notre Dame. At first, again, Cam's words, I'm reading it. At first glance, really didn't love it, but thinking more about it, I can understand. They returned 6 on offense, 8 on D with the 11th portal class. So they did get better on paper, and they will have future develop their returning starters. On the pessimistic side, this is a move to try and ensure they're making the college football playoffs. Lost both their biggest games last year. We'll see if that changes. I also agree with him on this. Again, on paper, they have a great team. I really love CJ Carr, Mylan Graham, Otto Porter. Off the rip, I don't know their running back. They have an okay defense. Again, everybody loves Marcus Freeman. I also agree with him that I think they're just doing this to make sure that they're in the college football playoffs. But with that being said, too, another pessimistic side, I do agree with Cam, where they did lose the 2 hardest opponents, or they did lose the games last year to the hardest opponents. Are they going to repeat that? Hope not. Could I see it happening? Absolutely. We've talked at length on pod and off pod about how Notre Dame loses those big games, but if they don't, like they should be, They should be good. They should be. They should be. This is a good team, but also it does make me nervous in recency of this team. 4, I'm okay with it. Maybe 5, maybe 6, but 4, I like it. I'm okay with it. Number 5, Texas. Cam, verbatim. Again, I'm going to repeat myself a lot in these next 10 minutes. The Longhorn hype is in full force, and I don't mind it. They'll get a chance to prove it early against Ohio State. I'm here for the drama, plus they returned studs on both sides and had a crazy portal run, which that is 100% correct. I do agree with Cam. I'm trying not to get excited for Texas, but this Texas team, I am excited. They hurt me last year, but as Cam has said, the wide receivers and everything, they dropped a lot. I don't know off the top of my head the whole statistics behind all that shit. I don't want to go down that. We're not talking about that. Hollywood Smothers, what's the other one? They have a dual threat in the backfield. They obviously have Cam Coleman. We all saw that highlight in the offseason in his one-handed snag. I like the Texas hype. College football is good. College football is more fun when Texas is good. Um, but also too, I agree with Cam where it's like prove yourself that you're a blue chip, which they are, but also prove yourself this season against the number 1 team in Ohio State. If you can beat them, nobody's going to doubt you because you just beat the best team as of now. But also with that being said, I like where they're ranked. They're ranked at number 5. It's good. They're not ranked 1. I like that. Number 5 is good. Now we get to talk about the team that I have a lot to talk about. Again, Cam's notes. Number 6, Indiana. Too low, 3 exclamation points. Only 8 first place votes, undefeated, 16-0 natty champs, being ranked 6. Come on, man. Plus, they got subjectively better on paper. One of my least favorite spots. A minimum switch them with Georgia. I agree with them 110%. Last year, guys, again, we started this pod last year. We're almost coming up on our 1-year anniversary. Kudos to us. I doubted Indiana and Kurt Cignetti a lot last year, and I kept doing it, and they kept proving me wrong. So what more do you guys need? Honestly, again, I said it 5 minutes ago. This team should be ranked number 1 instead of Ohio State, or vice versa with Oregon. Now you have just given Kurt Cignetti more fuel to the fire. And what happens now? You already know. That is ammunition for him to kick all the teams and beat the shit out of them. 6 is too low in my mind, too. It's actually kind of disrespectful. I think he's better than all of these other teams. And then, again, on paper, they are better. I don't think you guys understand. Josh Hoover, in hindsight, from the start of last season, technically, I think was a better QB than Fernando. Obviously, I'm not saying Fernando is a bad QB. That's not what I'm saying. He won the Heisman, won a Natty. But on paper, they're better than they were last year. And yet again, you have snubbed them. And you can disagree with Cam and I and the voters if you want to. This is bullshit. This is not fucking okay, and I can't wait to see what happens this year and all of this in the follow through. So, interesting. Number 7, Miami. Same, again, Cam's notes. Same kind of thoughts as Indiana for me. Too low for the runner-up. Seems like for some reason higher teams, they take the roster into heavy consideration, and they don't pay much mind to last season. But Miami has both the roster and last season's resume to be higher than 7. Darren Minsa, better than Carson Beck, plus all the other offensive weapons returning. Their schedule is pretty cake, but so are other teams above them. Notre Dame. So let's talk about this for a couple seconds. Again, it's a little bit disrespectful. We could have switched them with, I could have maybe moved some pieces. I don't know what team off the rip, but if I am nitpicking, again, I do agree with Cam. Darren Minsa is better than Carson Beck. They're returning Mark Fletcher. They got Darren Minsa's number 1 target from Duke and Cooper Barcate. I think that's how you pronounce it. I hope it is. Anyway, obviously we know Malachi Tony, right? Yeah. Okay. Jesus, why am I having a brain fart, y'all? This team is good. This team, again, I agree with them. The runner-up shouldn't be this low. Hopefully they prove them all wrong. Again, they play Notre Dame, I think. We'll just have to see, y'all, but I also agree. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Kind of disrespectful, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Obviously, it's not how you start. It's how you finish. So this is going to change a lot. That was number 7. Number 8, we got Texas A&M. Cam's words, don't hate it, don't love it. If they play like they did the first 11 games last year, they'll make the college football playoffs, no doubt. But that fizzle out and the fact that their ranked wins early on didn't look as good by the end of the season. I'm not so sure. I would have preferred to see them at maybe 11. I agree with them here. The first 11 weeks, Texas A&M was on a roll. Then the last two games they played, they just fucking sucked, dude. Like, yeah, they still made the college football playoffs, but they lost to Texas, a huge rivalry. I like Texas. I like A&M. I don't have that hatred as I do for the Iron Bowl, so I can't really speak to that. But you lose that, you're not going into the playoffs on a high, and then you kind of get steamrolled and basically the ball pushed down your throat because fucking Miami ran all over you in the playoffs at your stadium. I hope that doesn't happen. I like Texas A&M. I do agree with them. I think it's a little generous. I could have maybe put them at 10 or 11 as also Cam, but don't hate it, don't love it. That's just my thoughts. At number 9, Ole Miss. Cam and I both really love Ole Miss, but let me get his thoughts out for y'all. His words: I'm high on Ole Miss, but I realize some of it might be biased. I agree with me in that. Offensively, amazing. Even with losing their OC, I like the return of Baker. He was good for ECU, and I think he can't really go wrong calling plays with the offense he's got. Defense lost some studs, sadly, a few to LSU, but I think they're going. But I don't think they are going to be terrible. To me, they just need to get a few turnovers or stops in big games to give the offense a chance to seal it. I'll take those odds. I like where they're at. It's generous. Actually, it's right where they should be at 9. Again, I think bias because Cam and I love them so much. I'm a huge Kewan Lacey Glazer. We love Trinidad. We'll just see what happens. We'll just see what has to happen, y'all. I like where it's at. Not against it. I think it's right where they should be. I hope they're good. I really hope they're good because we both love Ole Miss. So we'll see. Um, at 10, Oklahoma. He goes, Cam. Here's a nice run on the SEC team. I don't know about this one. Yes, it'll be a healthy material and they'll return a lot of production, but I'm not sure I'd put them over Bama. I'd flip them even with Bama QB with the Bama's QB question marks. I agree with that, but also I don't want to talk about Bama yet because Cam does have other thoughts. With that being said, I do think Oklahoma is a little. I don't think this is where they should be. I think they should be outside of the top 10. John Mateer's injury and his health does scare me. I know he's beefed up. We've all seen the photos this past few months or weeks or whenever it happened. I don't fucking know. I do like Isaiah Satania. Uh, their defense is the defense is going to be good. Brett Venables always has a stellar D. David Stone is a fucking anchor on that D line. But they had a home playoff they had a home playoff game against Bama, and Bama came back to win against them. If they're not playing Bama, I don't know. I don't really know. But as that being said, sorry, just brain fart over here, y'all. With that being said, at number 10, I don't agree with that. I think there's other teams that we could have put in here. I think it's a little too generous for this. I also agree with Cam. Push him outside of the top 10. Cam has other thoughts, with that being said, of the overall top 25. So let's get into that. So Cam's thoughts. He said, I love that Houston got ranked. They deserve some love with what they are cooking up over there. I agree, dude. Houston is going to be good this year, and I don't know if the casuals or the diehards know how good Houston's going to be. I'm really high on them, as is Cam. Connor Wingman, they have a 5-star QB that's going to be sitting. They have a lot of talent on that team. They won a bowl game last year. I'm really high on them, so we'll see what happens. I like that they're ranked. They could have been ranked a little higher to me, but we'll just have to see. Hopefully they win some games to prove all the haters or doubters wrong, y'all. I don't fucking know. Now we're gonna talk about Washington. And on Washington being 17, maybe 21 or 22, Demond is him, but losing Jonah Coleman in Boston is tough. I do agree with him. I do think 17 for Washington is a little generous. I think it is a little too high for this team. I am high on Damon Williams, but they don't really have a whole lot besides him on offense. I don't know too much about their D to speak on that at length. If I was picking a spot to put Washington at, I probably honestly, guys, put them at like 21 or the high 25 or like just right at 25. I think there's teams that are better than them, honestly. More on Cam's own. He said, maybe I'm wrong on Mizzou. I'm just not high on them at all. I can see them winning 8, but 8-4, a top 25 team. It's kind of not a ranked team if you're 8-20. If you're 8-4, I hope Austin Simmons proves me wrong. I also agree. everybody was really high on Austin Simmons, and then he got benched 2 weeks into the season last year for Trinidad. I also agree, but I don't hate that Mizzou is ranked, but I think they're ranked at like 24 or 25. That's right where they need to be, or unranked, honestly. If I had to pick it, there could have been other teams that I would have swapped out for Missouri, but it is what it is, so we'll just have to see. More on Cam's note. Tennessee, to me, is a fringe top 25 team, but again, I don't necessarily hate it. I just personally wouldn't rank them. I agree. I don't know too much about Tennessee. I don't know if it's Faison Brandon, or I don't know the other QB that they have in this battle. There's just not enough there with the data to put them as a ranked team. I personally don't think they should be ranked. That's just me. I'm not trying to be a Tennessee hater because, again, I'm an Alabama fan. Third Sunday in October. We all know what happens that Saturday. I just don't think they should be ranked. I think it is generous. I think there's other teams that we could have swapped for them, and I think Cam would also agree with me. Maybe you guys don't. That's all good. Also, first year in a while, Clemson doesn't start ranked, and he's okay with that. I'm also okay with that. A lot of people in recency these past 4 days are kind of pissed that Clemson isn't ranked. I'm not. I think them getting ranked would be out of pocket and a little too generous. Hopefully, Clemson proves us all wrong. Hell, they have a week 1 matchup against LSU. If they beat them, they're going to be fucking ranked. Why would you not be? So, with that being said, I think them not being ranked is okay. I might piss off some Clemson fans or just other people that disagree with me. That's all good. And I think Cam also agrees with me, too, that they shouldn't be ranked. I think the last of them, yeah, okay. No, we got 2 more. Or 3. I don't know. We're just gonna keep talking, yo. He said, no group of 6 love. I personally think UNLV could have been number 25 over Boise State. Boise State got more votes. I do agree with that. Cam and I, again, 30 minutes to an hour ago, he talked to me about that, and I understand it because UNLV is tough, man. Dan Mullen's got those Rebels rolling, and Jackson Arnold is like his last hurrah. So I also agree with him that UNLV could have ranked. You could have honestly swapped Boise State and UNLV, but we'll just see what happens. We'll just see what happens, y'all. We'll just see what fucking happens. And then, last but not least, verbatim, he said, "Fuck it. Give me Virginia over Louisville. Louisville had some great wins last year, went 9-4, but Virginia going 11-3 only gets them 1 top 25 vote. Sure, some wins look better early on than later, but if we're going strictly off roster speculation, they deserve a nod. I believe in Bo Pribula still, and I think he'll be good for the team. I also didn't think about this until Cam and I discussed this an hour before this podcast. I agree with him, man. I like Jeff Brom in Louisville and Lincoln Kienholz, but I also see where Cam is coming from. Virginia was good last year, and they did improve their roster. Yeah, Chandler Morris was a dog, but they got, I think in my mind, a better starting quarterback in Bo Pribula. They got the same head coach. I do think that Virginia is going to be good, and I also agree with him on the fact that they should be ranked top 25, if not 25, 24, or 23. Disagree? Agree? I don't give a shit. But y'all, with that being said, that is it. I think after I close this out, I would have hit 40 minutes. But little talking points. Again, you got me for this episode. Next episode, it's just me. It might be a little bit of both. Maybe it might just be NFL. Maybe there'll be more college stuff. I don't know yet. We'll see where the road takes us, if we stray from the path or not. But again, Cam, this is for you and your beautiful wife, Alondra. I hope you two have the most wonderful honeymoon. You two both deserve it. I love you both. But as always, as we close, please like, share, subscribe. And you know what, guys? Do me a favor. Please tell like 5 other people. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe or anything. It just helps us out, which we would love. And also tell 5 people. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your boyfriend, girlfriend, or tell your dog. I don't care. Just tell some people about us because we're fun. We're exciting. We talk shop. And we just want to hear from all of you. We post Instagram Reels, TikTok videos, YouTube Shorts. Usually every day I try to. Go like, share, go like them. Go retweet them or whatever you want to do. Go look at those. They're pretty funny. They're entertaining. Share some love. Turn on the post notifications. Like it. Share to it. Subscribe to everything, y'all. We can't thank y'all enough. We are growing by the very minute. And again, like how I said 20 minutes earlier, our 1-year anniversary is coming up. I wish Cam was here because this is moving so quickly for us. I cannot believe that we've almost hit 1 year in this podcast. I'm so grateful for all of you and everything that you've done so far. But With that being said, this is one of your favorite degenerates from the podcast from Saturdays to Sunday. I'll see you guys next week. I love y'all. Bye.